Kalshi's prediction market has it near toss-up territory. So shout out to Kalshi for sponsoring the show.
Wait a second. Is that a toss-up? It looks 58% to 42.
Uh-huh. Prediction market, not polls, have the Democrats at 58% likelihood to win control of the House. Republicans with 42. Now, considering the historical trend of opposition parties winning, this was actually in May 82.5 to 17.5. No one thought it possible Democrats would lose, and then a variety of things happened. And now that's why I say near toss-up territory. I mean, 58 to 42. It was briefly 55 to 45. This is, a week ago. So Democrats improved a little bit, dipped down a little bit. It should not be anywhere this close. So I'm making the bet the Republicans' attitude is, listen, when SNAP benefits go up, a lot of rural working class poor people are going to be celebrating. The Republican message is going to be, those people that are mad, we're stealing from you. And I think a lot of conservative people are going to be like, yep. And then a lot of people in the urban environments are going to be like, I don't know what happened. All I know is you're supposed to have fixed this. And so even if, I'll put it this way, in New York, in a D plus 30, is Trump really worried about losing voters? But it's going to hurt Democrats. In a swing district, maybe, but Trump may be betting in a swing district where a Democrat is currently in office for Congress, people are going to say, I'm voting for the other guy, regardless of which party it is. I'm voting for the other guy because what's happening is bad.
And I think that bump for the Republicans there, I believe that's because of the SCOTUS looking like they're going to take on the Voting Rights Act.
The initial decline appears to be, like you can see over the past several months, generally related to the public sentiment, the working class, et cetera. And then this bump that happened right here is when news broke that SCOTUS was likely going to overturn the Voter Rights Act. Voting Rights Act?
Voting Rights Act.
Yeah. They were going to overturn that one, and that's allegedly going to give Republicans 20 more districts. I'll put it like this. When you're at the point in politics where in order to win, you're just blatantly redistricting,
right? We
are well past the point of arguments. I'm looking at it like
I agree with that.
The Republicans' attitude right now, like even with going back to the DOJ stuff with the pardons and voiding them, they're going to do it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Trump's attitude is all that matters is you win. As we had on Aronberg last week, and he said, I forgot whose quote this is. The sovereign is he who makes the exceptions or the exemptions, whichever. And so right now, I'm assuming that the Republican Party's attitude is, who cares? You can just do things. That's it.
Probably, yeah.
That nobody, there was a period maybe 30 years ago where the conversation was, let's figure out where we meet, compromise, and then work together.
We're way past that.
Yeah.
There's no
shot. Accuse Trump of being a Russian spy, impeach, whatever, by any means necessary. Get him out and launch investigations. And then with Trump, you get the election is fake. You get January 6 riots. This is why I said this in 2020 that people are going to storm the White House. Not exactly correct, but close. Because the arguments every year, you know what it is? It's actually really simple. Let me say it like this. The argument only matters to the older crowd. The older you are, the more you're concerned about winning an argument. The younger you are, the more you're just like, crush them. And we see that with the celebration of Charlie Kirk's death. You see it with, Nick Fuentes getting more and more popular among younger generation, going viral on social media among these younger Gen Z guys, Gen Z skewing right. I don't see a remedy to the track we're on. I think it goes in one direction. Y'all know that.
Well, you have the ability. You have millions of listeners and followers, and you have the ability to help shape the debate. That's why I'm here, is because you'll have someone like me on it, Tim. And that's something where you're not on the extreme where you're generating hatred, and there are people who you know who they are, who that's how they make their money in doing that. But that's not who you are, and that's why I think maybe there's some hope if we can have this type of debate, this type of dialogue.
I agree with you. And I think it's been great. I'm really glad that you came, and I hope you come back. It was fun, even though I just got really heated and started yelling. But I would go back to that, what got me so heated, and then say to the millions of people who follow me, who trust me, What do you think they think? How do you think they feel about what Merrick Garland did to me?
I think they hate it, and that's why I understand your indignation about it. I understand why you're upset about it, because you had to hire lawyers, you've had death threats, you still have death threats, I'm sure.
But because it was fake. It's a lie.
The difference that we have on this is not that I think you shouldn't be upset about it. I think the difference is that I don't think Merrick Garland went in there thinking, I'm going to screw over these right-wing influencers and I'm going to help the Democrat win the election. Just Merrick Garland is not like that. He's got his faults. And the people on the left, they are really down on him because they think he dragged his feet after January 6th, didn't want to get involved in going after Trump, didn't even put a special prosecutor into place until it was too late. He went out of his way to make sure Biden's son got prosecuted. Biden was embarrassed by Robert Hur. He dropped the case against Matt Gaetz. This is Merrick Garland in the Democrats' mind. So where I'm coming from is that I don't think he came in there thinking, I'm going to screw over Tim Pool and the Republicans. He may have made mistakes, but I don't think it's because he intentionally tried to hurt you or the Republicans.
Why didn't he then reconcile the mistake he made?
As far as the case, remember, you said that you heard from your lawyers that they dropped the case in December.
Informally.
Informally, right? But I haven't seen that. Like, it's not reported.
No, but it's informal. And that's the point.
The case against the RT people. That's
so here's the timeline. Press conference. Mm-hmm. This thing happened. Tim Pool, Benny, Dave did nothing wrong. Immediately, we were attacked by every political actor imaginable, threatening our sponsors, trying to get us banned, death threats. There's no way Merrick Garland was unaware that would be the case. The argument made by Merrick Garland was that we disseminated Russian propaganda. That's factually incorrect. The shows that were licensed were not, in any meaningful way, Russian propaganda. People tried claiming that because of comments I made about a German indictment of a Ukrainian cut out of context, that was Russian propaganda. Germany indicted a Ukrainian guy for bombing Nord Stream 2. I said, if a Ukrainian bombed Nord Stream 2, they are an enemy of this Ukraine. Sanctioning this would make them an enemy of our country, trying to drag us into war. So then they say, aha, so a totally different company, a different show. And then they try to make some circuitous argument. But the point is, Merrick Garland had no evidence, issued an indictment against two individuals that could never be prosecuted, falsely claiming that the prominent key players were unwittingly disseminating Russian propaganda, which is false, never apologized for his error. And then in December, the feds, the DOJ, instructed my lawyers that they would be informally closing the case. That is, it will remain open. We will not tell anybody, but we will no longer pursue it, and we no longer need your correspondence. And I rejected that and said, absolutely not. What do I have to do? And that's when I was instructed, Tim, this was for the election. There's nothing you can do. The DOJ never had any intention to prosecute two men from a faraway land they can't prosecute.
Well, they've done that before, though. I mean,
sure.
There's several.
And they did it right before the election. And so my point is this, not to rehash that whole argument. My point is, to the millions of people who do watch this show, who know that I've disparaged Russia, but I've also disparaged Ukraine and don't rightly care about either because they're not America. They know Merrick Garland lied. They know that it caused us damage. They know that it put us at tremendous risk politically, financially, and safety. And the view is Merrick Garland is a portent of what's to come. This is what you get from the boomer class trying to destroy you. He didn't mean to try and destroy my family's life and put us at risk and have every political actor and faction trying to rip us to shreds. He didn't mean for that to happen. He just did it on accident. So the response is, okay, these people are either so brazenly inept, they're dangerous, or they're malicious. And now the presumption is wholly it's malicious, considering Jenna Ellis being prosecuted. I mean, whatever your argument over what you think Jenna Ellis did, it is bold to criminally charge a person's lawyer.
Local prosecutor did that, right?
But it doesn't matter. These are the Democratic Party is not a separate entity. The Democrats work at the state and federal level all the same, and the prosecutors are once again aligned with these political parties, federal or otherwise.
Well, the fact that she pled guilty to a much lower charge
means that they threatened her life and she begged them to leave her alone.
But also, and I was getting there, where the initial charge of RICO seems to be an overcharge. When you charge someone with such a serious crime as RICO and then a few weeks later they plead guilty to almost nothing, that to me is a problem. Then it does seem like an overcharge. But, you talk about Merrick Garland, who comes out before an election and has his press conference. But don't you think that James Comey deserves the same thing when he violated FBI policy to announce that he was reopening the Hillary Clinton email investigation just days before the election? And then he closed it right before with very little fanfare, right?
It was obviously political. And I think Hillary Clinton should have been criminally charged for the destruction of public records.
But the Comey part, right? And the fact
Indeed,
that Comey announced
yes,
that, right?
yes, absolutely. We have an overtly political DOJ and always have.
Whose side was he on then? He was hurting Hillary Clinton.
Indeed.
Right.
Yeah, indeed. I can't speak to the motivations of James Comey. I don't like the guy, nor do I trust him. And there's a million and one reasons we can assume, but I can say, I don't care if it's Comey or Garland or anybody. An October surprise is an obvious October surprise. You're playing games. We get it. Now, the issue with Hillary Clinton is that she should have been charged over the emails thing a long time ago. But if the precedent is we're not going to do that, we're not going to play that game, they shouldn't have gone after Trump. They shouldn't have gone after Trump for documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Those are, apples and oranges. The documents, I think that was legit because, again, well, we already talked about that.
Right. But so to the Comey issue, the apples is that it is dangerous for parties to swap targeting each other when they switch power. So for Trump to be targeted by Obama and Yates and Comey and whoever else, Biden with being a Russian spy as he entered office is terrifying, right? As Trump is campaigning, they accuse him of being a traitor. He enters office with this weight over him, and then for a variety of reasons, which I believe are largely Trump's fault. Not so much that he did it to himself, but that he didn't know what he was getting into. He ends up with the Mueller investigation and all this ridiculous nonsense. Then you end up with these individuals, these holdovers in the FBI, the DOJ, putting pressure on social media organizations to censor people, which is a fact. And let me just succinctly wrap this up. I accurately reported long time ago that social media companies were censoring conservative voices and pro-Trump voices. And every wahoo in the corporate press said I was lying, and I'm a conspiracy theorist and made it up. Gizmodo was the organization that initially reported this. I cited them, and then I get accused of lying. We now know that all that was true. We now know that Biden's DOJ was sending letters, had illicit access to big tech platforms through back doors, through threats against these companies. Zuckerberg came out and said, we resisted, but they forced us to do it. I mean, what Biden did is evil. Now, maybe Trump did evil stuff too. But to the main point, before we go to our super chats, is that nobody should want conflict or crisis. Nobody should want war. It will be the worst thing you ever see come to pass. And these young people, largely these urban lefty Antifa types that are celebrating violence and revolution, they are going to be the first to weep if it ever actually happens, because they're going to be like, why can't I eat food anymore? I think conservatives are largely going to be like, we mostly live in the middle of nowhere and we have chickens in our backyard. So it will predominantly impact urban individuals who will lose access to these resources, but everybody will be lesser because of it. Unfortunately, neither side will back down. There are two distinct moral worldviews that have been described as the multicultural democracy of America, the Democrats, the liberals, the left, and the constitutional republic of America, the right, the conservatives, etc. Neither of them will accept the proposition of the other. That is, Democrats have proposed abortion up to 9 months. States like Colorado, it happens. Unrestricted.
Well, yeah, but does that really happen? I mean,
Yes.
does it happen?
It does.
Literally happen.
When does a
but
9-month abortion happen unless there's a threat to the health of the mother?
It does happen. Well, no. But this is actually, to call that an abortion, here's why this is complicated. Because when the woman is 9 months pregnant and there is a medical reason why the baby needs to come out, you just induce labor and she gives birth early. To perform an abortion on top of that is never a medical necessity.
But let's put that aside, because that actually doesn't, that argument is not to the point I'm making. And if, by all means, Seamus can argue with you and show you the facts on this, and we can disagree. My point is, neither will accept the proposition of the other. So in Colorado, when they said, we would like to legalize abortion unrestricted up to nine months, conservatives and moderate liberals even said, why? And they said, well, it doesn't happen anyway. I don't care what you think happens or doesn't happen. Don't legalize it. They've also proposed child sex changes. Put these people on TV. There is no reality where a conservative accepts that proposition. The conservative argument is drag shows for children are felonious and should be shut down immediately. And Democrats say we should have drag shows for children. What's the problem? Both sides saying that is an existential threat to my moral worldview. There's no reality where the Democrats and Republicans come to compromise on when children can get sex changes. It's an absolute, there's no middle ground. It's either you allow it or you don't. So I don't see a reality where moving forward, either side will negotiate a middle ground between the two. It's just not going to happen.
I do worry that we're so dug in and people are not talking to each other. And now we have different social media sites. I mean, you have Blue Sky and Twitter are separate, and you have podcasts, and people have all this confirmation bias. That's why I come on shows like yours, and I've been on Megyn Kelly and other shows, because I just think you're one of the few who does allow for that dialogue. You think Nick Fuentes does? That's not the
No, he
same.
tries.
Yeah, but that's...
He does.
Yeah, but,
He would love to go on liberal shows.
oh, my gosh.
But here's the thing. So I respect it. I appreciate it. We're glad to have you. Liberals don't do these shows.
That's a problem.
They
And
charge money. You know, Don Lemon said $50,000.
And he's
Yeah.
worth every penny. Tim.
I know Don's a good guy. That's surprising, because shows do not pay. That's the thing. Like,
I know.
shows don't pay. So it's not like it's just you. No shows pay.
I shouldn't say every, but 80% of the liberals we ask come back with a fee.
Well, Bill Maher, who I like, he says the same thing you do. He says that I invite the Clintons and liberals on the show. They don't come. Only the Republicans seem to come.
Bill Maher's right wing.
Well, he's considered right wing
Now
by
he
the
is,
far
yeah,
left,
by
but
the-
he's actually
according to these
considers
people.
himself old school liberal.
But Bill Maher and I largely agree on a lot of things.
But-
And I had a great time. I grew up watching his show when I was a kid. And the problem is what largely divides Bill Maher and I told him this, and with all due respect, is that he doesn't know what's going on.
Were you on a show?
Yes. Oh, well, on Club Random.
Oh, that's cool.
I've not gone in real
so
time.
You got a drink with him on a show?
Yeah, and I don't really drink, so I had some tequila because I'm not like a alcohol bad. I just don't do it for health reasons because I just try to eat healthy, eat right. I got a good BPM, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
I try to get caffeine, like a caffeinated beverage here. You don't even have that. I'm
No,
impressed.
we do.
I mean,
We do. We have yerba. We have tons of yerba.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's downstairs.
Oh man, no, I didn't. I'm here without any caffeine.
So here's the example of Bill Maher, because Bill Maher is right wing. Several years ago, he had on Dennis Prager, and Prager mentioned that in bathrooms they're putting tampons in the boys' bathroom because they're claiming that men can menstruate, and everyone on Real Time laughed at him. And Bill said, "No, they're not. They put them in there for their girlfriends." However, the interesting thing, the story cited by Dennis Prager, and this is I think 2018, was actually a 3-year-old story. So various college publications and blogs had already written about, yes, men can menstruate. And yes, colleges are putting tampons in men's room. Wow. 3 years after that story breaks, and we are all discussing it, Prager on Real Time says it is a lie to claim men can menstruate. And Bill Maher laughed and said, Dennis, what are you talking about? This is crazy. I've never heard this. So I believe that Bill Maher, it was almost 70, and I'm a fan. He gets his news probably from corporate cable TV. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to be apprised to everything that those of us who are reading the news all day, every day are. So what happens is he's 3 or 4 years late to the conversation. And if you were able to sit down with Bill and show him a piece of media, for instance, I won't play because I do it all the time, but the video from I Am Jazz, are you familiar with the show?
I don't think so.
Jazz Jennings was 7, socially transitioned at 11, got surgeries and puberty blockers or whatever. Not surgeries, puberty blockers. Has a show on, I think it's TLC. And there's a viral clip where Jazz Jennings' mother says that Jez, a biological male who is trans, doesn't use the dilator. So she will wake Jazz up in the middle of the night, take the dilator, lubricate it, and say, you stick this in your vagina, or if you don't, I will. And that if Jazz leaves and doesn't do this, I will wring her neck. You show that to a conservative, and they're going to scream bloody murder.
Child
Now,
abuse. Yeah.
you show that to Bill
Heinous
Maher.
child, like one of the most horrific incidents
Well, I mean,
of
think
child
about
abuse
it.
I've ever
You
heard
took
in
a
my life.
prepubescent child,
Yeah,
surgically
it's
removed
insane.
his genitals.
Dude, I can't even hear about
and
it.
then when the
Can't hear
when the
about
child is an adult and says, I don't want to do this anymore, you say, if you don't do this, I'll wring your neck. You show that to Bill Maher, and he's going to go, this is abhorrent and shouldn't be allowed. And the question then is, why are you voting for the party that is making it possible and putting it on TV? And he's not, I don't know. because Trump is bad, because Trump's lewd and lascivious and self-interested and enriching his family. And I'm like, dude, make every political argument in the world that you want. Fine. If you come to me and say you can have the mafioso who's going to get rich off crypto schemes and build golf courses and golden ballrooms, or you can have the guy who's going to surgically amputate a child's testicles and then put on TV a woman threatening to jam a foreign object up inside of him if he refuses. And I'm going to be like, give me the mafia guy. And that's where we're at. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.